chapter 6 about Inquisition, the dangers of the Inquisition. Chapter 6. It's noteworthy that Christianity arose when paganism had already declined and was strongly disappeared. No, oh meu Deus. Pelo amor de Deus. Sorry. One moment only. No. It's not so great, this chapter. It's a big chapter. It's noteworthy that Christianity arose when paganism had already declined and was struggling against the light of reason. Paganism was still practiced pro forma. The belief, however, had disappeared only personal interest sustained it. Unfortunately, the followers of the doctrine didn't agree on the interpretation of the master's words. How today happen is still veiled more often than not by allegory and figures of speak. Hence, the birth without delay of numerous sects, all claiming to possess exclusively the truth, and 18 centuries I say 20 and 20 centuries were not enough to bring them into agreement. Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 23, item 14 and 15. This book was received by me in 2050 years. 2013 year. 2013 year. In this year, I think it's 2013 years. 2030, the year. Then all chapters in this book have, when you start the chapter, a matter about gospel from the Spiritism. Let me see something that are accommodating me. This here are so hot. I have equipments, but I don't want make this. I don't like this. If I can support the hot, I prefer. With the advent of Jesus Christ on earth, the Druids were already scattered throughout Europe, where they concentrated and they prepared the ground for the new religious ideas that would profoundly sweep the world, thus creating a revolution in the pagan world. When Jesus Christ reincarnated, they had already been informed of the day and place of coming of the great Messiah, making the famous visit, bringing with them the three main leaders' gifts of the three kings, the three magician kings, I think is this. Then the three man leaders' gifts of frankincense, gold, and myrrh, which respectively symbolized the prophet, frankincense, the king, gold, and myrrh, the Messiah. Jesus Christ was this tree. Have the three titles. Each was representative of the main tribes where the remaining Druids incarnated on earth is still gathered long before the time they were harshly persecuted by the Romans, who considered the Druids, who considered them dangerous and sinister as they could not foresee the consequences of their habits, which, although different from others, did not appear to pose an imminent danger. However, the Druids, better than with their strong intuition, as they knew of always accurate predictions, such as deaths and defeats and important battles, reported long before they occurred. They were able to control weather phenomena, tame wild beasts and possessed profound knowledge of the plant kingdom, which they masterfully used to cure the season now at the time. All of this reaches the ears of the emperors. Their frugal habits went against the pomp and ostentation highly valued by the ruling aristocracy. What bothered them most was the help given to the population, where healings, resurrections, and other feats occurred that attracted too much attention. For a long time they did nothing against them, as they considered their actions harmless. However, the Roman leaders began to fear their growing influence over the population and then began to denigrate them so that they wouldn't gain the credibility of the people whose total submission to Rome they needed. To Rome was necessary submission from people to them. Then Druids are totally contrary. His acts helped people turn people ever ask to Druids the cure, counsels, and how to work with vegetation, etc. They spread stories about the Druids, Rome to finish the influence of Druids. They spread stories about the Druids, such as they used the ritual with human sacrifice to the gods. They worshipped enchantments that could lead a person to do whatever they commanded, and along with the stories, when they conquered any land where there were Druids, they were the first to be killed in a cruel and barbaric way, causing more and more Druids to distance themselves from Rome and hide from the Roman people. All violence stems from ignorance and fear, characterizing the profound weakness of the violent, for they don't know how to overcome the adversary on equal terms, using the same weapons. All covert act this way. And so, even before the advent of Christ, those who would prepare the ground for the great master, who would come to shake the structures of paganism, already decadent in the face of the lights that were already foreshadowing their first rays to illuminate and bring the good news, were already being martyred. In truth, what most bothered the Romans and the peoples of that time was the energy stemming from a life devoted to detachment, which requires incidentally a devotion motivated by faith in the existence of something superior to material life and the cosmic consciousness that portrays eternal giving as a source of production. It requires severing the ties that bind us to what is fleeting and illusory. It's the eternal inner struggle that incarnate man wages with himself between the animal being and the spiritual being. However, it's easier to visualize the treat in the other that bothers us, than to embark on self-knowledge and wage the real battle with ourselves. For millennia, despite the advent of Christ, many still linger in the vast illusory landscapes of their passions and vanities, further delaying in the gardens of human illusion the great battle to be fought with oneself, when one will finally have to defeat the monster of pride and selfishness, fed for so long in its comings and goings, so that the cosmic being may finally be freed and happy. Here I have a bit note about Inquisition. Uh, a note in final of the page. Then, the term Inquisition refers to various institutions dedicated to suppressing heresy within the Catholic Church. The Inquisition was initially created to combat syncretism among some religious groups who practiced the worship of plants and animals and used divination. The medieval Inquisition, from which all others derive, was founded in 1184, the year. It had already begun many centuries earlier. The First Crusade is dated 1095. It was also called the Crusade of the Nobles or of the Knights. By preaching and promising salvation to all who died in combat against the pagans. This is in Wikipedia. In 1095, this in 1095, Pope Urban II was create a new cycle. It's true that idea was not entirely new. It seems that as early as the 9th century, it had been declared that warriors killed in combat against the Muslims in Sicily deserved salvation. Druids in that era, we are referring to in Wales. In that era, we are referring to in Wales, several religious branches were already established, debating among themselves, each bound to the particular interpretations to which they clung, each wanting to be the holder of the truth. Driven by vanity of dominating and oppressing those who opposed his ideas, we in this building, we are suffering this with this other so high surround sound. Driving by the vanity of dominating and oppressing those who opposed his ideas, and interpretations were harshly flayed and burned at the stake. No battle for material conquest killed or flayed as many as the religious wars of that period. The thirst for power and material conquest transforms man into a beast of his own kind, conquering through ostentation and greed, unlike the beast that lives in the woods and hunts only for its survival. See the difference? Human beings have free will. With free will, they are in the top of food. I don't know this name in English. On the top of the kingdom of domination, because the human being only human being can control births or deaths from animals. It's necessary to control this. because if we don't control this, can put in risk human being. And if you are less or with less animals, this will put in risk our environment. If we don't control birds in exaggerate form, these two will turn this world finished. See all this creation of cool calls. Really, it's necessary, and here go destruct all forests, cut all trees that take maybe centuries to grow. Is this the way to make with forests? Really? What type of human being so ignorant can think this way? We are given a gun with in our body when we start to destruct all vegetation, all minerals, explore until disappear, until let the deep earth empty, and all superficial, all planets will be sucked. I can imagine this for ganacy. Can the human being forget the balance? They have obligation because we are in top of this. This kingdom, human kingdom, is on the top of all this, and this human being don't have consideration to another's kingdoms around the human being. If this continue happen, this eyes without see, we will be destructing our lives. In first is our lives going on. If we don't take care to animals, to water, forests, we can forget our life too, because this will start disappear from streams until make this. Where are the human beings? But the good of this, I like to know, this planet will regenerate it alone. What happened in ice era? Don't return it all nature again. No one will be capable to destruct nothing in this planet. No one will get this grace of God. No one. Because this system is totally self-regenerated. Because the beings out of this planet, so much intelligent, make a planet knowing this epoch would arrive. They knew this. and God are ever in front of us, ever making other roads to us. Don't make a great ignorance to that all things around us. God know His creator. God know our ignorance. God knows. But one thing is important. If you make this too, you are complices. Then all of us must help all life around us. All of us. Each by one of us have responsibility with this. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Then one by one of us must make your part in this reestablishment of balance in all environment. If disappear one environment, it will be how a domino domino play. One follow, other things will follow too. Then each of us have a serious responsibility. If you are in the view, in the road, you see plastic, stop, take a plastic close to hand. I don't know, say this in English. In Portuguese it's luva. Post this in hand and go there and get the plastic to his right place, not in road. Road is way to the ocean. All things is in floor, in view, in road, go to the ocean. Don't doubt this. Then you must get this and put in the next place this. Don't take this in view. Don't put this in view. Don't make this. Your plastic in your home, you can make various of this and put in this place out of your house to a person take this to gain money with this, to recycle this. Various persons are in the road searching things how plastic to recycle this. Okay, we must have conscience that we are in top of this current. We are the top. We can control births and deaths in nature. We must control this. God permit the human being making this, helping the work of God. Because this, God create us in top of this current. Then we must have dignity to exert this function with all around us, with other persons and with nature and animals. Is our function not only by biologic man, biologic physic man, no, is each one of us have this responsibility. Continue then. The thirst for power, material conquest, transforming man into a beast of his own kind, conquering through ostentation and greed, unlike the beast that lives in the woods and hunts only for its survival. See how this man don't is respecting. This man aren't respecting all other kingdoms in nature. We must observe this and don't make this. To don't be complices. This growing wave would reach its peak in the 15th century with the Inquisition. However, in the 12th century, where our story takes place in the 5th dawn, we are referring to the atmosphere was one of peace, since the Lord of the Lands was very careful to divert the attention of the clergy was down to the manifestations occurring in the regions that drew attention to miraculous cures or villagers using plants for purposes other than food. Was a difficult time to live, causing Inquisition and tortures. Everyone in 5th dawn, despite believing in the manifestations of relatives, they made this all 1st day of November. They made this. And initiated on this time the capture of his food, planted, this food that was planted started to be I don't know the name, what is this? To be getting, to eat or distribution to others too. Everyone in the 5th dawn, despite believing in the manifestations of relatives who had already passed away, since they met and talked to them at the annual meeting, knew how dangerous it was at the time to openly discuss the subject as well as to comment on the help they constantly received when they suffered from some ailment and were assisted by the healers of the 5th dawn, as well as by Eleba, who from a very young age had already performed prodigies. The druids of the region were always warned about visits from clergymen. This is the dangerous, linked to the Inquisition and the Crusades, and took great care to guide the villagers on how to proceed when under any investigation that was carried out in the regions, so that they themselves would not be confused and brought to trial by the clergy, who had to full support of the English crown, since they maintained common interests. How today happen in politicians. The lord of the castle attended the weekly masses and advised the villagers to always be present, even if they were against Catholic ideas. The idea is not the idea of not being able to see their loved ones again and letting themselves die because they couldn't be cured by the power of plants was not on their minds of the Druids. Despite the fear of being skinned alive by the Inquisitors, both things terrified them. They wanted to continue receiving news from beyond and alleviating their suffering, as the time was difficult for medicine to cure diseases which were still progressing slowly for the most common illnesses. In those epochs, they died from viruses and problems with sanity conditions, less sanity conditions. Only in Rome had a construction from view to water, pass, and other things. Rome have this, but only rich from those epochs would construct the system of canalization. Okay? And this was the finish from this chapter about Inquisitions, the nigger time in history of this planet. I don't like see movies about it. I don't like see movies about people that was in prison in Second War. I forgot the name where they were. They were dead because his nationality. Nazis made this. I don't like to see movies about it. Not about Inquisition. Two movies that I don't see for no one way. I don't got. This would be let so worry. I think I must pass it so bad with these situations, I don't know. Then, so good final week. I hope you had liked these informations from a bit and beautiful people that live with us in this planet and help our body have a great, fast development and a great appearance. And remember, what make body is not body, and what make body is our spirit. We will reflect we have inside us. This is the truth. Not the external will reflect what we have inside. No. Sometimes you can see a beautiful woman, but so cold, so bad, so without color. Is this, exactly this. Don't forget, what gives life to this body is us, spirits, nothing more. And it's so simple, let the spirit free in this body. Take care of it, body. Don't neglect your body. Treat your body to live so much, so much. How much you get live in this planet, how much you will progress. How much you help it around you, so much you will develop it too. Think ever in construction, cause destruction don't will take you in no one place. You will start in circles, walking in circles ever, and who is constructing will in circles but ascendant. Is this until nevermore return. And we will gone without doubt. How much we are constructing in more happiness. We are going in direction of our happiness. It's marvelous. Only God, how a winner to this company can give us the possibility to be so near the construction of universe. See this society, what marvelous is this? We are rich moments and moments. Only we can understand how we are so rich. And because this, I make a question to read to you about this work, tremendous work from Kardec. And this week, in Thursday, I posted about Genesis, the book that Kardec made great research and gave to us study with him. Then it's my desire you have a great final week with God, angels, positive thoughts ever. Learn it to construct your thoughts and you will construct your life the way you want. Until the next, and have a great final weekend. Until the next. It's here.